In 1944, Europe was drenched with blood of the millions of Yidden that were wiped out by the Nazis throughout the Holocaust. In the midst of that winter, the Baron Rekeach, the Belzer Rebbe, successfully was able to be saved, and he arrived to Eretz Yisrael. He stayed by Lubavitcher Choser B'Shnei Zalman Ashkenazi for a couple of weeks until they were able to organize a home for himself. And a couple of days after his arrival to Eretz Yisrael was Parshas B'Shalach, during which we read Oz Yoshir, which we read also in Shuls and Shvish Pesach. His Hasidim were torn how to handle it that Shabbos. Typically, Oz Yoshir is read in a joyful tune. There's a joyful atmosphere. And as happy as they were that the Rebbe was saved, there was still a sense of mourning and sadness, being that the Rebbe arrived without his wife and children who were killed out by the Nazis in Shalom. However, the Belzer Rebbe told him the following. Parshas Oz Yoshir begins with Oz Yoshir Moshe B'nei Yisrael, regarding which Rashi, based on the Medrash, says, being that it says Oz in the future tense, is a right that Moshe is yet to sing a special shira, which will take place later after Tchis HaMeisim. However, he gave another pshat. Taking into consideration that the Yidden that arrived and left Mitzrayim and are standing now after Kriyas Yamsuf were only a fifth of the Yiddish population in Mitzrayim. Chazal tell us on the pasuk Chamushim Olu B'nei Yisrael Meretz Mitzrayim that only a fifth of Klal Yisrael left Mitzrayim. Many died out in Mitzrayim. Wouldn't there be a sense of sadness and mourning among the Yidden? How did they go about saying Shira? To this, said the Belzer Rebbe, because Tchias HaMeisim, because they believed in the future, they believed in the Gula Asidah, they believed in Tchias HaMeisim. When one believes in the Gula Asidah, one recognizes that the pain, the mourning, the sadness, the gullus, the darkness that they're currently experiencing is only temporary. If it's only temporary, then there's no problem for me to be joyful because I'm anticipating the Gula Asidah. And this complements a pshat that the Lubavitcher Rebbe gives regarding Shvish Pesach. The ability to sing in Golus for the future is what the Lubavitcher Rebbe explains pshat, why we don't say Shechionu on the last days of Pesach. In Nigla and Halacha, the basic reason is because the last days of Pesach is all a continuation of the first days of Pesach, so it's all one big Yom Tiv, and we said already Shechionu in the beginning, so you don't say Shechionu again. But he gave another pshat. Because the beginning of Pesach, we celebrate the initial Geula of Klal Yisrael, the Geula from Mitzrayim, and the last days of Pesach represent the Geula Hasidah, as indicated in Oz Yoshir that talks about Tchias HaMeisim, as indicated in the very Sifim Psukim in Oz Yoshir that talks about the future, Hashamim Lech Leilam Voed, as indicated also in Nachon Shal Pesach, the Haftarah talks about the Gula Hasidah. And therefore, the last days of Pesach represent sort of a celebration of the Gula Hasidah that we are anticipating. And therefore, we cannot say Shechionu because Bepoya, the Gula did not take place yet. We cannot say Shechionu v'Gionu Lizman Hazer. But being that we, while we are on Golus, we have the ability to strengthen our Amunah and to see the future and express our Amunah and faith that the Geula Hasidah is yet to come. Therefore, I could begin that celebration already now. And it is most definitely that when a person has this positive attitude, this positive approach, going ahead and believing in the Geula Hasidah, a person already gets schar right now for that. And that could eliminate many tzadis that a person is dealing with. And this is hinted. We could derive this also from Kriyas Yamsuf based on what the Rechaim HaKadosh explains over here. He brings a whole medrash that there was a whole conversation between Moshe Rabbeinu and the Yamsuf. The Yamsuf didn't want to split. And he asks basically the basic question, why would the Yamsuf not split, being that Hashem already put a Tanai in Ma'aseh Bereishis? He already put a condition in Ma'aseh Bereishis that the Ma'aseh Bereishis, that any creation Hashem made has to split before Yid that is going to do a mitzvah. And we find by Pinchas Ben Yoed, the Gemara talks about many different miracles that happen. So why did the Yamsuf had any hesitation whatsoever? Says the Yechaim HaKadosh, because this night that Hashem gave him Ma'aseh Bereishis, that any creation has to bend, so to speak, before a Yid going to do a mitzvah, really only took effect after Matan Torah, when the Yidden had Torah mitzvahs to do. But over here, Moshe Rabbeinu and Klal Yisrael were pre-Matan Torah. There was no mitzvahs that they had to do right now. They were only on the way to Kabbalas Torah. And therefore, says Erechaim, being the Bepoil, the Yamsuf did split from Moshe Rabbeinu, the message that the Eibishter and Moshe Rabbeinu gave to Yamsuf, and thereby to Bria Sa'ilam, is that even if a Yid has not done the mitzvah yet, but is only on the way to do a mitzvah, he's on the way to Kabbalas Torah, he has a rotzen to go in a particular direction, and that rotzen itself gives the person the schar that creation can split, miracles can happen. And therefore, likewise now as well, as we are standing now in a golus, a devastating golus, a golus on many, many different levels. Many, unfortunately, almonis and yisemim that took place over the past couple of weeks. And every person on many different levels have very different hardships. But when a person recognizes and remembers that we are on our way to the Gula Hasidah, a person then can begin to experience a sense of Shira and Simcha at the present time, as the Belzer Rebbe said. And that Ratzin and Simcha that a person has right now, where he's heading in the direction of the Gula Hasidah, that itself can make miracles happen. Let us take this opportunity as we're approaching the last days of Yom Tov. We should approach it b'simcha. It's a shvera avodah, but this is the avodah we have to do. We have to recognize that we are talking goals. But right now, we do not say Shechiyanu, but we are in the direction of the Gula Hasidah. And by us strengthening our emunah, that itself will bring about that many miracles should take place in Mitzvah Hashem. We should be zeicha that all the machlis that exist currently should be wiped away, and we should be zeicha to the Geula Amitis Vashlema, the Beis Mashiach Tzidkenu, b'meheira v'yameinu. A good Yom Tov.